Hi, my name is Alex Stein, and I am a student at Dakota State University. This video is a brief overview of special education and the process that a person goes through. Hopefully you'll enjoy this video. Most early schools avoided severely disabled students or those with multiple disabilities and worked only with those who were deaf, blind, or mentally challenged. Those with the more serious disabilities were often not eligible for admission to any school and were often placed in asylums. Private schools were often expensive, and state-operated schools were limited in their facilities. The first American residential school for those who were deaf was established in 1817 at Hartford, Connecticut, by Thomas Hopkins Gaudet. Thomas was inspired when he saw a little girl playing alone by herself, and when he went to investigate, he found out that she was deaf. Not knowing sign language, Thomas attempted to communicate with Alice by pointing at his hat and writing "hat" in the dirt. She understood him, and he was inspired to teach her more. Brown versus the Board of Education is acknowledged as one of the greatest Supreme Court decisions of the 20th century. This court case held that the racial segregation of children in public schools violated the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. Although the decision did not succeed in fully desegregating public education in the United States, it did, however, put the Constitution on the side of racial equality. The Rehabilitation Act of 1973 is the first U.S. federal civil rights protection for people with disabilities. This act prohibits discrimination on the basis of disability at any federally funded institution. This covers admissions, recruitment, programs, and services. This law requires program accessibility. If an existing facility is not accessible, redesignment of equipment, reassignment of classes, or other services to accessible buildings is an alternative to new construction. However, newly constructed facilities must be readily accessible to persons with disabilities. The most revolutionary legislation related to the education was Public Law 94-142, the Education for All Handicapped Children Act of 1975. All people between the ages of 3 and 18 must be provided with a free and appropriate public education. The term appropriate means suited to the disability, age, maturity, and past achievements of the child and parental expectations. The education must be a program designed to meet the child's needs in the least restrictive environment. This means that the child will be placed in the classroom that will benefit the child the most. The Education of Handicapped Act amendments of 1986, or Public Law 99-457, established statewide, comprehensive, coordinated, multidisciplinary, interagency programs of early intervention services for infants and toddlers with handicaps and their families. This law addressed easily recognized the needs of very young children with disabilities. This act later became known as the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. This requires that there be no exclusion of children ages 3 through 21, and public school systems are responsible for including all these children in an education program, regardless of the extent or kind of disability. Some of the terms included changing the handicapped child to child with disabilities, because it was recognized that the children are handicapped by the limitations placed on them rather than by their abilities. And all children with disabilities have an education that is will have an education that is individualized to meet their needs. This is written in a program known as an IEP, or an Individualized Education Program. This is a legal document that spells out the child's educational goals, disabilities, and the services and support that the school will provide. Here is a quick overview of the process of special education. Step 1 is to find and identify the child in need of services. Step 2 is to gain parents' permission. Step 3 is to evaluate the child. Step 4 is to determine if the child is eligible based on the evaluation. Step 5 is if the child is found eligible for services, then you must form an IEP team, and these are the members needed in the team. Step 6 is to conduct an IEP meeting and write the IEP. Step 7 is to provide the services. Step 8 is to measure the progress and goals and objectives from the IEP. Step 9 is to review the IEP and revise if necessary. Step 10, the child is reevaluated. As a parent, you know what's best for your child. You have many parent rights, including access to educational records. You have the right to get an independent education evaluation, which is an evaluation of your child's skills and needs by someone who is not a school employee. You have the right to participate in meetings about your child's education, including the IEP meetings. The school must also give you a written notice whenever they want to add, change, or deny services to your child. The school must also provide you with a written explanation of all of the procedural safeguards or parent rights that you have under the federal and state law. The language for your notices and consents must be understandable and in your native language. And the school must protect your child's confidentiality. These are just a few of your many rights.